Pfizer was founded in 1849 by Charles Pfizer and Charles F. Earhart, two cousins who had immigrated to the United States from Ludwigsburg, Germany, the year before. The business produced chemical compounds, and was headquartered on Bartlett Street in Williamsburg, New York, where they produced an antiparasitic called Santonin. This was an immediate success, although it was production of citric acid that led to Pfizer's growth in the 1880s. Pfizer continued to buy property in the area, by now the Williamsburg district of the city of Brooklyn, New York, and beginning in 1898, the city of Greater New York, to expand its lab and factory, retaining offices on Flushing Avenue until the 1960s. The Brooklyn plant ultimately closed in 2009. Following their success with citric acid, Pfizer, at the now demolished 295 Washington Avenue, and Earhart, at 280 Washington Avenue, established their main residences in the nearby Clinton Hill district, known for its concentration of Gilded Age wealth. Pfizer spent summers in similarly exclusive Newport, Rhode Island, where he died in 1906. In 1881, Pfizer moved its administrative headquarters to 81 Maiden Lane in Manhattan, presaging the company's expansion to Chicago a year later. By 1906, sales exceeded $3 million. World War I caused a shortage of calcium citrate, which Pfizer imported from Italy for the manufacture of citric acid, and the company began a search for an alternative supply. Pfizer chemists learned of a fungus that ferments sugar to citric acid, and they were able to commercialize production of citric acid from this source in 1919. The company developed expertise in fermentation technology as a result. These skills were applied to the mass production of penicillin, an antibiotic, during World War II in response to the need to treat injured Allied soldiers. On June 2, 1942, the company incorporated in Delaware. 1950 to 1980. Pivot to pharmaceutical research and global expansion. Due to price declines for penicillin, Pfizer searched for new antibiotics with greater profit potential. Pfizer discovered oxytetracycline in 1950, and this changed the company from a manufacturer of fine chemicals to a research-based pharmaceutical company. Pfizer developed a drug discovery program focused on in vitro synthesis to augment its research in fermentation technology. In 1959, the company established an animal health division with a 700-acre, 2.8 square kilometers, farm and research facility in Terre Haute, Indiana. By the 1950s, Pfizer had established offices in Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Cuba, Mexico, Panama, Puerto Rico, and the United Kingdom. In 1960, the company moved its medical research laboratory operations out of New York City to a new facility in Groton, Connecticut. In 1980, Pfizer launched Feldene, piroxicam, a prescription anti-inflammatory medication that became Pfizer's first product to reach $1 billion in revenue. In 1965, John Powers, Jr. became Chief Executive Officer of the company, succeeding John McKean. As the area surrounding its Brooklyn plant fell into decline in the 1970s and 1980s, the company formed a public-private partnership with New York City that encompassed the construction of low- and middle-income housing, the refurbishment of apartment buildings for the homeless, and the establishment of a charter school. In 1972, Edmund T. Pratt Jr. became Chief Executive Officer of the company, succeeding John Powers, Jr. 1980 to 2000, development of Viagra, Zoloft, and Lipitor. In 1981, the company received approval for diflucan, fluconazole, the first oral treatment for severe fungal infections including candidiasis, blastomycosis, coccidioidomycosis, cryptococcosis, histoplasmosis, dermatophytosis, and pityriasis versicolor. In 1986, Pfizer acquired the worldwide rights to Zithromax, azithromycin, a macrolide antibiotic that is recommended by the Infectious Disease Society of America as a first-line treatment for certain cases of community-acquired pneumonia, from Pliva. In 1989, Pfizer scientists Peter Dunn and Albert Wood created Viagra, sildenafil, for treating high blood pressure and angina, a chest pain associated with coronary artery disease. In 1991, it was patented in the United Kingdom as a heart medication. Early trials for the medication showed that it did not work for the treatment of heart disease, but volunteers in the clinical trials had increased erections several days after taking the drug. It was patented in the United States in 1996 and received approval by the Food and Drug Administration in March 1998. In December 1998, Pfizer hired Bob Dole as a spokesperson for the drug. The patents for Viagra expired in 2020. In 1991, William C. Steer, Jr. became Chief Executive Officer of the company, succeeding Edmund T. Pratt, Jr. Do you notice there are a lot of juniors? In 1991, Pfizer also began marketing Zoloft, sertraline, an antidepressant of the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, SSRI, class developed 9 years earlier by Pfizer chemists Kenneth Coe and Willard Welch. Sertraline is primarily prescribed for major depressive disorder in adult outpatients as well as obsessive-compulsive disorder, panic disorder, and social anxiety disorder in both adults and children. In 2005, the year before it became a generic drug, sales were over $3 billion and over 100 million people had been treated with the drug. The patent for Zoloft expired in the summer of 2006. In 1996, Eisai, in partnership with Pfizer, received approval from the Food and Drug Administration for Donepezil under the brand Aricept for treatment of Alzheimer's disease. Pfizer also received approval for Norvasc, amlodipine, an antihypertensive drug of the dihydropyridine calcium channel blocker class. In 1997, the company entered into a co-marketing agreement with Warner Lambert for Lipitor, atorvastatin, a statin for the treatment of hypercholesterolemia. Although atorvastatin was the fifth statin to be developed, clinical trials showed that atorvastatin caused a more dramatic reduction in low-density lipoprotein pattern C, LDL-C, than the other statin drugs. Upon its patent expiration in 2011, Lipitor was the best-selling drug ever, with approximately $125 billion in sales over 14.5